I'm Mark.
And I'm Josh.
And this is Alter Ego Comics TV for the week of April 13th, 2016. And we're back with our recommendations for stuff that we think you should check out. Stuff that is awesome. And there is a fair amount of awesome stuff this week, as is the case most of the time. Lots of new stuff, lots of new number ones we're talking about this week. A lot of stuff that is rinse and repeat. If we like the earlier stuff, the earlier issues, we like the current issues. But we'll kick things off with Moon Knight number one from Marvel Comics, written by Jeff Lemire, artwork by Greg Smallwood. And for me, Moon Knight has been an interesting character. It's just one I haven't latched onto over 30 years of reading comics. You know, I read I actually was in high school or grade school when the Mark Spector Moon Knight series was being published, and I had it on my pull list at my local shop and enjoyed it then. Liked Moon Knight in West Coast Avengers in the 80s. But since then, I think Moon Knight has kind of floundered, with the exception of the Brian Michael Bendis, was it Alex Maleev or Michael Lark? I don't remember.
It was Maleev, I believe.
Bendis and Maleev did a 6-issue or 5-issue Moon Knight miniseries.
It's actually 12 issues.
Oh, it's 12 issues.
Yeah, no one read it past 6 except you.
Sorry,
and me.
I thought it was, and it was awesome. Yeah. It falls into that same area that Greg Rucka's Punisher does for us. That it seems like we're the only people that really liked that run, and that can't be right? Because it was really good. So Bendis and Maleev did an excellent Moon Knight miniseries. You should totally check it out. Go pick up the trade. It's excellent. Lemire was writing the previous series, and he took over for Warren Ellis, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of convoluted and complicated with Marvel's renumbering and monkeying around with stuff. So I was hesitant, actually, to pick this up. But it's a number one, and I felt I owed it to you, the viewer, to force my way through it, and it turned out to be the thing that I enjoyed the most this week. Basically, the character of Mark Spector is in an asylum, as you can tell from the cover.
Or in the Klan,
yeah.
Depending on how you
Well, I don't know. And he doesn't know. This character is complicated. That's part of the problem, mm-hmm. is that Moon Knight, Mark Spector, and all of his other aliases, to the average reader, they're just going to say, I don't want anything to do with that. Because he's got multiple personalities, and he's been different people, and he's got the power of the moon. And is it Kenosha, Wisconsin? No? Khonshu. It's like a type of chicken at that Thai restaurant by your house. So it's a little daunting, but don't be put off by it, because I think that they do a really nice job of explaining things and setting it up. So is this guy nuts? Has he been in this asylum his entire life? What's real? What's not real? And it's clear that there is a larger story to be told here. And I was just really impressed, especially by the artwork. Greg Smallwood's artwork on here looks like it's out of more of an image book, but there are flashbacks or stories that are in his head that look a lot like Bill Sienkiewicz's artwork from the original Moon Knight series. Really impressed by the artwork that Greg Smallwood did in this book, and Lemire does an excellent job with the writing. So for now, I'm back on the Moon Knight train. Moon Knight Train.
Johnny Cash sang that song.
Really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was top notch.
First on my pick this week, we've got The Black Road number one, subtitled The Holy North. This is written by Brian Wood with art by Gary Brown. And it is about the North, the cold North, the Viking era, kind of 1,000 years ago. And if you know anything about Brian Wood, he's got some background here. He had a long-running series, Northlanders, also from Image, I believe.
I believe so.
That was very well regarded critically and from the fans. And this is a new entry, not directly related to that, although it is titled A Magnus the Black Mystery, which is...
And that was my question. Was Magnus the Black a character in Northlanders?
Not that I remember,
okay.
But my recall of Northlanders is not to the page and issue, so I could have missed him. So we've got a religious official for the church who needs to go up the North Road into the great unwashed North and the Viking areas and whatnot, and he needs protection on the road. He hires Magnus the Black, and hilarity ensues. No, it is not funny.
No.
There is murder and death and unpleasantness and Viking stuff. But Brian Wood does a great job of mixing period information with a modern sensibility. There's excellent dialogue and characterization. And it was just a lot of fun. If you like the TV show Vikings on History Channel, you would probably like this. Even Game of Thrones has some parallels to check out. But well-written Viking adventure, The Black Road from Image.
At long last, the long American nightmare is over. We finally find out why C-3PO has a red arm in Star Wars The Force Awakens this week in a one-shot Star Wars C-3PO written by James Robinson, artwork by Tony Harris.
That team sounds familiar.
The dynamic duo behind the critically acclaimed Starman series from days of yore over at Vertigo DC Comics. And this book has been rescheduled a half dozen times, and I'm not really sure. I think that they were timing it with the release of the DVD, would be my guess at this point. But I don't know if it was supposed to be out, closer to the movie. But this is it. You may remember, if you've seen the movies, if you're one of the 5 who hasn't seen Star Wars The Force Awakens, when C-3PO sees Han Solo for the first time, he says, "Oh, you may not recognize me because of my red arm." And it's kind of left there. And I actually watched the bonus features of the Blu-ray this week, and J.J. Abrams makes a point of mentioning that the story will be told in a comic book. So if you watch the bonus features, so hopefully it brings hundreds, if not thousands, of new people into comic stores to find out what's up with C-3PO's red arm. And it's a very emotional and good story. Basically, there's a transport that C-3PO and several other droids are on. They're transporting a First Order droid that has information about the whereabouts of Admiral Akbar, who was apparently caught in a trap. And the droids are the only ones to survive a crash. And
Sad side note, did you hear that the guy that voiced Akbar died?
Yes.
We're fine.
The droids have to survive and figure out a way to send out an SOS to be rescued, and so it's a survival story with droids, and there's a lot of stuff in here as far as the droids are programmed by humans and which side are you on, and because of the way that you're programmed, does that determine your fate and how many times your memory gets wiped and all this other stuff. And there's a lot of substance to this. It's definitely more than a quick page turner to find out what happened. And the resolution and the outcome as far as how he gets the red arm is very satisfying. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it's a must-read for anybody that is a Star Wars fan. And if you're a fan of Robinson and Harris on Starman, you should probably check it out, too.
All right, next up we've got my Violent Ladies twofer. First up, Dynamite has brought back Xena, Warrior Princess, in a new number 1, written by Genevieve Valentine with art by Ariel Medell, sorry. And this is, if you like the Xena TV show, if you remember the Xena TV show, it's been a couple years now. It's solid. It evokes all of the characterizations properly and is a nice, fun, untold story of the Xenaverse. If you're not familiar with Xena, maybe check it out. The people behind it are largely Rod Tappert, who's Lucy Lawless's husband, but the bigger name is the one that I can't think of at the moment.
Sam
Raimi. The man behind the Spider-Man trilogy, the good one. Well,
and Bruce Campbell and Ted Raimi.
Oh yeah, lots of everyone who goes with Sam Raimi isn't.
They're a gang.
Yes, fun, wacky hijinks. If you like Buffy, it's a lighter historical version of that. Also in the Violent Ladies category, we've got the unbelievable Gwenpool number 1, written by Miss Hastings, Christy Hastings.
Christopher, I think. I think it's a man.
Oh, is it?
I could be wrong.
Okay,
it's a man.
Why would they let a man write a woman's book? That just seems.
There's no credits page in this book?
There probably is. I just can't find it. I'm terrible at this. Anyway, so Gwenpool, if you're not familiar, has been popping up in backups in Howard the Duck for a little bit. I think there was a 5-issue stint. She also had a one-shot. It is Christopher Hastings. Why did I think it was Christy? All right. How, you want to take a shot at that one?
Nope. Is that one name?
Yeah, the main story artist is Grehiru. I think that's right.
Yeah.
Unless he's not from Asia, and then I don't know.
It could be a sentient robot, for all I know.
There's also an artist on different sections of the books, Danilo Beyruth. Danilo, I like it. Respect, Dan.
Beyruth.
Yes. Gwenpool has been popping up in Howard the Duck. She is from our world, the actual, real world. She's in the Marvel Universe.
Up the street.
Yes.
That way.
She knows that she believes that she's in a comic book. She has no superpowers, but she just goes on wacky adventures with her knowledge of how comic books work. It was fun. If you like Howard the Duck, if you like Deadpool, if you like ridiculousness and self-awareness, it's a good read.
Last of my 3 recommendations this week, Batman Superman number 31, written by Peter Tomasi, artwork by Doug Monk, that guy. This is part 2 of the Super League, although apparently it's been retitled The Final Days of Superman. Part 2, Dark Discovery. That's a new cable channel, by the way. And Batman, Superman, Tomasi writing Batman, Superman, what is there not to like? Again, they're writing these characters the way that I want to read them, as if they have been friends for a very long time, even though it's only been, 9 or 10 years, roughly, because it was 5 years prior to the beginning of the New 52.
Assuming
and then we've been going about 5 years.
Time, yeah.
And Superman is dying. He has gone through a lot of bad stuff, including kryptonite chemotherapy and swimming through the burning fires of apocalypse and many other things. And his body is he's done. He's terminal. And he goes to talk to Batman and, basically let him know. But he's also going there with a mission. He's trying to find his cousin Supergirl. And so he asks the world's greatest detective for help with that. As they continue with that, they run into some sort of crazy Chinese mythological gang of animals, and they fight them. And Superman gets wounded pretty badly. So the best part of this for me, again, is the interplay between Superman and Batman. How Batman handles the news that Superman is dying, what he can do to help his friend. There's a nice kind of touching moment with Alfred in here.
That was good.
That sounds bad that there was a touching moment with Alfred, but it's, you know what I'm saying. So if you are interested in these two characters, I highly recommend checking out, especially Superman. We're 2 parts in of an 8-part. I think it's 4 books, 2 books.
Superman, Batman. Yes, that sounds right.
So if you're a Superman fan and you've been away for a while, definitely come back and check this out. I think it's going to be worthwhile, especially as we head into DC Rebirth, and who knows who Superman will be at that point and what will happen to this guy. So good stuff.
Also from Peter Tomasi, we have an indie book from Dark Horse. This is House of Penance #1 with art by Ian Bertrand. And this is based on, or maybe inspired by, as a better appellation, a true story. If you're familiar with the Winchester house, the heiress of the Winchester fortune, they make the guns that shoot, not the guys from Supernatural. Probably there may be a relation in there somewhere. She was batshit crazy. And around the turn of the last century, 1905, 1910 region, she was spending the family fortune to build this house, and it never stopped building. For the rest of her life, they were constantly building the house, adding rooms, hallways to nowhere. And she had teams working almost around the clock, constructing this house. And she believed that she had to sleep in a different room every night, otherwise the spirits could find her, and that's why they had these false doors and stairways and stuff to trick the spirits to make it harder for them to locate her. And this is a story, that's the true part. Well, the part that's true from our point of view. And House of Penance gives us that, but it also maybe applies some potential motivation. We see a lot of characterization of her certainly seeming crazy in this first issue, talking to people that are dead, and we also get a side story coming in, presumably into the main line that I believe is fictional, about a man showing up looking for work at the house, and darkness and madness ensue. It's not a fun read. It's kind of heavy and crazy and dark, but it was very interesting, especially if you like history. House of Penance.
House of Pain. And I read it not putting 2 and 2 together that it was based on historical facts. So when Josh told me that, it put everything in a different light. So I actually enjoyed it more now that I know that it's based on a true story.
It's not just crazy crap
happening. I before we started filming, I'm like, this book is like crazy. What is going on in here? And he's like, oh, you're not familiar with the Winchester house. So, okay, apparently it's a thing. I missed that day of high school history. Okay. Where is the Winchester house, by the way?
It's
in California.
Okay, I don't know what city.
Yes, they point out where it is. So if you're looking for offbeat horror and crazy stuff that Scott Snyder fully endorses, then you should check that out. All right, so DC Rebirth is coming right around the corner, and DC has made free previews available to stores and people and stuff like that. So there's a cool magazine-size DC catalog that's almost 90 pages full of interviews and artwork and solicitation information about the DC Universe after Rebirth. And we're giving one out to everybody free with purchase here at the shop. I assume all stores across the country are doing something similar. and you should totally pick it up. It's more than just a catalog. I'm only like 20 pages into it.
So you're not even to the catalog.
No, I'm not to the catalog. The solicits will
start to the 30s.
I was reading the interviews, and there's information in here that hasn't been released anyplace else. So if you're looking for a nice collection of all of the DC Rebirth information, so you don't have to scrounge the internet and try and find, who's on what and what character is this and all this other stuff, it's all here. And I, again, only being 25 pages in, I really enjoyed it. I mean, this is something you're going to sit down and you're going to take, 30, 45 minutes and go through and read it. So head out to your local shop, come see us. We do have a limited supply. We don't have unlimited copies, obviously, because that would mean we're magicians or something.
Speaking of magicians, Doctor Strange trailer last night?
Oh, yeah. I didn't actually see it until this morning.
Oh, okay.
But it is on the Alter Ego Facebook page if you haven't seen it. So come get your DC Universe Rebirth previews, and then speaking to everyone, and I do this all the time. Josh hates it when I think he hates it when I do this. But we need your pre-orders on this. We can't guess. If you were reading Scott Snyder's Batman, you need to tell us you want Tim King's Batman. We're not going to automatically pull Tim King's Batman for you because you may not want it. We need to know, much like with the New 52, and all the other stores in the country need to know too. So if you have a pull list at your shop, grab one of these, fill out the order form, and give it to your fine proprietor, and let them know, because we really want to make sure we have enough copies to meet demand. And assuming that we're going to order, I don't know what, Super Sons, in enough quantity to make sure that you have a copy, may not be the best way to go. So use this as a tool. Let us know what you want, and we'll be happy to order it for you and make sure that it's here. And I do have to say, I'm really excited for this. It was fun reading the interview parts. I'm excited about where they're going with this. Did you look at the back cover of this?
Yeah.
What's up with that?
I don't know.
The back cover features the
JSA.
The JSA in one hourglass and the pre-New 52 Justice League in another hourglass. I don't know what's going on, but I'm excited, and I just can't hide it.
Last up this week, we've got Image First's Compendium Volume 2. This is the sequel to one of the coolest things Image put out last year. Basically, you've got 9 first issues in one graphic novel size volume for $5.99. So for the cost of 2 comics, you get to check out 9 number ones. And nearly all of these are great. Obviously, well,
except that one.
It's going to depend on your point of view. Nobody likes everything, but there's a broad range. We've got Birthright, which is sort of a modern fantasy family drama. We've got Bitch Planet, which is social commentary sci-fi. We've got Copperhead, which is sci-fi western, which we both loved. Descender is sort of AI. I don't even know. It's sci-fi.
It's sci-fi, but it's really good. Sci-fi with heart.
Yeah. And we both like that. The Humans is about a monkey motorcycle gang. Nowhere Men, I don't even know how to... It's about scientists who are the Beatles, sort of, if science was a big rock star in their history. Odyssey is Matt Fraction's gender-bending... I was going to say historical, but it's not historical. It's mythology.
Yes.
Sunstone is Stepan Secic's bondage lesbian opus, which is super amazing if you haven't checked it out. And Wayward number 1 is sort of a Japanese Buffy the Vampire Slayer with rats. Awesome comics. $6. There's no reason not to get by this.
Absolutely. Pick up Volume 1, pick up Volume 2. It's an excellent way to sample some of the best that Image Comics is doing right now.
And I think everything on there has at least a first volume out in trade.
Yep.
So if you do like it, there's an obvious place to go. And since they're Image, they're probably almost all $9.99 trades. So
yeah. No, it's amazing. Thank you, Image, for putting out these quality collections that we can hand to somebody. Many times people will come in, they're like, I don't know what to read. This is what I like. And 3 or 4 of the things that they mentioned genres would be included in this. And we're like, well, just try this, and you're going to get double what you actually are looking for, and a chance to sample lots of different things. So crazy times in comics. Everybody's firing on all cylinders, and it's time to come to your local comic shop. And it's almost time for Free Comic Book Day. So if you are in the neighborhood of a store, if you're in our neighborhood, it's on Saturday, May 7th, or any other neighborhood, it's also on Saturday, May 7th. And we will have thousands upon thousands of comics to give away. I think we'll have over 20 different titles available here at the shop. We've got other businesses participating again this year, face painting, music, acrobats. No, not acrobats.
Fire breathers?
Puppet shows. No, not puppet
none
shows.
of those.
All kinds of fun stuff. So get ready, get your costumes dusted off to come out to Free Comic Book Day at Alter Ego Comics, because if you're wearing a costume, you'll get to take home more comics than people that aren't wearing a costume. So there's that. All right, we got to go sell some comics and open the store, but we appreciate you watching. If you like the episode, give us a thumbs up and share this with anybody that wants to read awesome comics. You have anything to add? You look like you had something to add. No, nothing to add. See ya. Thanks. Bye. Bye.